Alright everyone, how are you doing? In today's brand new Destiny 2 build video, we are going to go through what is possibly one of the strongest solo player builds going in the game right now. Variations of it have been used by many players for challenging solo endgame content, mainly including flawless runs of the Prophecy dungeon from this season. So I'm going to break it down, look at why it is so strong and versatile, as well as discussing a number of mod combinations that you will want to consider depending on the content you are facing. So if you do go on to enjoy this video and find it helpful in any way, then give this a rating down below. And whilst you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest right here on the channel. Right, that's the intro done, now let's get into the build. So this one isn't what you'd normally expect, as we're using a unique loadout and perk combination that is not the usual so-called meta. But there's a reason for that, and that's because it's aimed at you being the spearhead of the team, or even allowing you to take on high level solo content with extreme survivability built into this loadout. So first up, we're going to be running not one but two special weapon grenade launchers. Witherhoard and Truth Teller are the specific combination we've got here. Grenade launchers are one of the best and most versatile single shot damage weapons in the game. They are great for both ranged and close quarters combat situations in a variety of scenarios. Despite Mountaintop being the bane of many players' lives right now, this build doesn't touch it and it will see you straight right through sunsetting. These two are the perfect combination, as Witherhoard is great for dishing out high DPS area of effect damage over time to targets thanks to its Primeval's Torment Blight ability. And Truth Teller is an awesome range option, allowing for high impact damage with controlled detonations. But the real centre point of this build is the Counterattack Negative Space Legendary Sword paired with the Titan Exotic Gauntlets Stronghold. These two items specifically have the most unique synergy you'll see in Destiny 2 and provide arguably one of the strongest current DPS options. Now you might be shouting at your screen, but a falling guillotine with Whirlwind Blade is best. And yes, I won't deny it, it does give the highest sustained DPS from a sword, especially on the new falling guillotine with Whirlwind Blade, which will boost damage by 30% with consistent sword hits. But Counterattack is the single best damage boosting perk for swords, and it gives a whopping 50% increase. And as the base damage of the Adaptive Frame Negative Space, which is obtainable from the new Prophecy dungeon as a random drop, is similar to that of the Vortex Frame Sword, it won't make too much of a difference when it comes to using it with Counterattack. Albeit Counterattack is only for 3 seconds, and it requires you to land a successful block and then being close enough to cause damage with your sword. But you can't complain at that damage increase, however it does require you to play in a specific way. You can't just spam away like you do with Whirlwind Blade, you have to time blocking attacks or ground stomps to activate the perk. However, with Whirlwind Blade, you'll most likely have your health chipped away even whilst dishing out high DPS, which can end up in you dying and then your DPS might as well be null and void. So the beauty of pairing this perk with Stronghold is that by blocking, not only will you get a huge damage boost, but you will instantly heal too, therefore negating all the downsides of being so close to a boss. Clenched Fist is the intrinsic perk which maximises the guard stats on equipped swords. Shots blocked immediately after guarding will heal you. So what you're looking for is to see both Counterattack and Perfect Guard appear in the tooltip. This is now the part where you can go ham with DPS for a few seconds before trying to time your next block. Now that's the absolute basics of this build put together. But now we're going to turn it up and put all of it together, including why we've got 2 grenade launchers and how we can push the DPS survivability of this build even further. So first up, we're going to set this whole build around the top tree sentinel Code of the Protector. This subclass is great for all round neutral gameplay, as the melee defensive strike will heal you, give you an overshield, increase melee damage and weapon reload speed, all thanks to Rallying Force and Turn the Tide too. It also has the backdrop of the immense Ward of Dawn Titan bubble, enhanced with Weapons of Light, which gives a huge buff to weapon damage and is great for situations when we don't have the next mod rolling, which is Whirlwind Blade. This Arrival's armor mod costs 4 arc energy and will give you a bonus to sword damage for 5 seconds when dealing damage with a sword, as long as you are charged with light, and this will consume 1 stack of charged with light. Now this mod doesn't stack with Weapons of Light, so be mindful of that, but it does come with the secondary perk of Replenishing Guard. This greatly increases the charge rate for your equipped swords, as long as you have another arc mod active on that armor piece. As we will be guarding to proc counterattack, having a quicker refresh rate of the heavy uppercut sword attack will boost damage output even further when Whirlwind Blade is active. Now to further boost our damage output, you're going to want to use Oppressive Darkness, along with Overload Grenades. Both are mods from the seasonal artifact and will further aid with DPS. Oppressive Darkness will add a further 30% in damage output thanks to its debuff effect, and when combined with Overload Grenades, these will also stop ability regen and lower the combatant's damage output for a short time, which will all add to the build that we are creating. These are class and chest item mods respectively and cost 6 and 2 neutral energy and are a must for any endgame PvE void build. Obviously these proc from using your grenade ability on a target, so you're going to want your grenades back as quickly as possible. So without using up too much space with discipline mods, you're going to want to look for a demolitionist perk weapon, and Truth Teller is just the one you'll be looking for. Truth Teller has some godly roll options and is likely to take the spot of the mountaintop once it's sunset. Luckily I got one to drop from legendary engrams this season, which comes with Demolitionist. It also comes with Field Prep, which is nice, but auto loading holster would definitely be my ideal choice here. Demolitionist will provide bonus grenade energy on kills with this weapon, and so you'll get your debuff grenades back in no time as you fly from encounter to encounter. Truth Teller can be tricky to use though, as it does have a controlled detonation aspect to it, where you have to release the trigger at the right point for it to explode, but with some practice you'll easily master its trajectory. Now, as we are running double grenade launchers and we need to become charged with light, you'll want to consider using Blast Radius. This solar mod costs 3 energy and will allow you to become charged with light on rapid kills with grenade launchers or rocket launchers. Witherhoard and Truth Teller will achieve this for you with little effort, and so for the next mod we want to bump our charges of light up as high as possible so we can stack Whirlwind Blade multiple times, and so we will chuck in the Supercharged mod to get us a 4-time stack of charge with light. This is a solar affinity mod and costs 5 energy. As for the rest of the mods, you'll want to consider a variety depending on the content you are facing. If you're doing a solo dungeon run, any minor, major or boss resist mods are great, with Fallen Hive or Taken Resist mods being even more ideal. Also, Concussive Dampener will help negate incoming area of effect damage too, which can be very handy. You'll also want to chuck in special and heavy ammo finders and scavengers where energy costs permit in your loadout, with grenade launcher and sword specific ones being ideal here too. So after going through all of the mods, let's discuss what an ideal DPS phase might look like, and we will assume that you've got your 4 stack of charge with light here. So first up, you'll want to prime your target with 2 shots from Witherhoard, 1 to the body to blight them and 1 to the floor to stack the blight tick damage over time. Then stick them with your Void Wall grenade to debuff them with Oppressive Darkness and Overload grenades, all the while moving up to them and guarding periodically to try get a proc of Counterattack and Perfect Guard. Once you get that proc, go to Pound Town with the sword. Whirlwind Blade will now also activate, and all you need to do now is optimise the damage phase, watching out for opportunities to guard, especially when your health starts to look suspect. Once you're out of Lucent Blade buffs, you can then drop your Ward of Dawn bubble for extra damage and protection to finish off the damage phase with absolute maximum damage. It is all down to timing with this one, and to be honest, not many ultras and mini bosses in the game will be able to stand an onslaught from any sword, let alone this overpowered sword build that we've put together here. If done right, you'll be able to destroy most ordinary strike bosses, do insane damage to Nightfall Ordeal versions, and with lots of patience and time, even one phase dungeon bosses. A full team of titans running this build would be a formidable force to be reckoned with, and ultimately this build will make you think twice about deleting that non-Whirlwind Blade sword roll next time one drops. So that's this build in the bag, another tool in your toolbox for you to dip into when you feel like becoming a god slayer. Please let me know in the comments section if you've tried any of the other sword perks, or if there's a truth teller role that you've been enjoying. If you are new around here, then this is what we do. We go on deep dives into strong and often wacky builds that try to broaden your imagination as to what is possible in this Destiny 2 sandbox. So if you did enjoy it, please hit subscribe and give this video a rating too. That would really help me out, and I really do appreciate all of the support. If you want to get in touch directly with me though, I do pretty much live on Twitter. Follow the link in the description and hit me up. I often post clips and other stuff on there that isn't always Destiny related, mainly just to keep me sane. But on that, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.